Hey guys, it's Sunday. Okay, so it is officially 7 o'clock. It is time for Amanda Miller Talks. Good night. Turn it down. So, to maybe one. One is fine. Is it on two? Or one? Okay. Hey guys, it's your girl Amanda Miller with 105.7 The Phase. And today we are going to be talking unapologetically real. Most of you have been following, so I appreciate you guys who continue to follow us on our platform. Lately, we've been on both IG and Facebook. So, if you're able to join us on both, please do so. If not, that's fine too. The only reason why I said if you can join us on both, please do so is simply because we have our co-host on IG. So give me a second. I'm going to bring her on the IG platform. And so it's a little easier to be able to follow us with both people and hear both perspectives. But if you can't, that's fine too. Hey, we rock and roll and we move accordingly and try to adjust, right? Yeah. So today, what we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about life after relationship.
Okay. So today, I told her because she hasn't been on lately. And so today she'll really be leading. So we're going to be talking about life after relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. So life after relationship. Give me a second. I have all of my platforms up, and I think this other one has been covered up. So give me just a second. I want to fix it. I don't think they can see the camera anymore on that one. Okay. All right. So, everybody that's out there in Amanda Miller Land, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you as always. Thank you for tuning in. Just trying to get adjusted here just a little. Because I got my 3 phones on these things. Okay. All right, let's do it. You ready?
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah, I am. Let's rock.
So the reason that I want to talk about life after relationship, because I mean, let me tell you something. Like, I personally am in a place after a relationship, like even at the past year mark, where I'm feeling a lot better about like myself, my decisions, you know, what's happening, like, I ain't gonna lie, what's happening isn't the greatest. But
So hopefully that you guys can hear out there. Like I mentioned, we're on several different platforms and we've been trying this out for some time now, just to be sure that we are engaging in all areas of platforms. So we are on IG right now on our Talk.Queens. We're on our Amanda 2, and we're on our Amanda Miller Talks. So if you're able to join the IG page, then my co-host is on IG. But the question is, turn this off for me. How do you simplify your question for me?
So, what do you think are some of the steps to after relationship?
So what are some of the steps to help you be happy after a relationship breakup? And I think that's different for everybody because some people break up, there's still that pain, there's still the sometimes anger, there are still some of the hurt, and some things that you have to heal through. What others is just a matter of it's over, it's been over, it's time to move on, and there's nothing else to do. So I think it's a level of what happens in the breakup, and then what are the steps that you take to get to where you need to be, right? And so if anyone would like to, we always say discuss, put it in your comments, drop it in the chat, whatever that looks like for you. But I personally think it's different for everybody. Some people really would say get back out there and just start having fun. Others would say dive in and hone in on you as self, what that needs to be for you as self to help you get to where you need to be. You mentioned therapy, and sometimes taking the time to talk to someone else to get to know yourself, get to know some things that you may have lost in the relationship, such as your sense of trust, some questionable things that you have to gain back. It's always good in my eyesight to talk to someone, and if counseling is needed, then certainly I would say definitely do counseling. But guys, help me out there in the audience.
What are some of you guys' steps? What are some things that because we've all been through breakups, how did if you had it accomplished, you could say how much you had that person commit. But if you had all the breakups before, what's one of the things that you did? What you said?
I agree.
Regardless of how and why you had to stay sensitive and take time to know and learn the present version of yourself. I would 100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree.
So one of the statements on IG, guys, is regardless of how and why it ended, regardless of how and why it ended, if you've changed since it ended, take time to know and learn the present version of yourself. Yeah, I love that because knowing the present version of yourself, good or bad, you have to decide what things I have to get rid of and what things I have to keep to move forward to be in a positive state. And then I have on Facebook, if you have to get into yourself, you have to get into yourself. When you love hard, you give so much of yourself to the other person. So it takes time to put you first once the relationship is over. And I agree to that. Definitely when you love hard. And some people just do. They are just people that love hard, and that's okay if that's who you are. And so with that being stated, it's definitely going to be, if you're the type of person that love hard, it is going to be definitely some pain, some things, some hurt. And so you're definitely going to have to take time out for self, because definitely when you give into people, unfortunately you're expecting some things back. And I think that's one thing we have to, for me, I guess when we do things, expectations of what you get back may not be what you are looking for. So what we give in, we're looking for something out, and we may not get that. So in return.
So do you think that probably evaluating what our expectations were is important?
Yeah, because we live by expectations, and then sets definitely measure that. We measure that by what we're giving. But unfortunately, I've learned we can't do that. It's the way we live, but unfortunately, what we put in, unfortunately, isn't always what we give out. So we got to be okay with that.
We have something from Miss Education. She said, you must dissect and unpack the trauma, tribulations, and blessings. The happiness, as opposed to, is a mask, often masked until the true self-worth journey begins. I agree with that as well.
Yeah. So we have a comment on our IG. Hold on, Chris, and I'll tell you. Saying you must dissect and unpack the trauma, tribulations, and blessings. The happiness is a mask, often masked until the true self-work journey begins. Yeah. So, Chris, we're talking about the steps you take to heal after a breakup. But I want to get, because it's so different for everyone and what that looks like and what steps it takes. I want to know from you guys in this same conversation. Someone put in my inbox yesterday, actually, about, what was the question? Oh, when we make a statement, or people make statements to say, you may be good for someone else, but not for me. So when you end, and I know I've said that, like, the person, not necessarily a bad person, but they're just not. Where we're going and what we have, just not for me. And so doesn't make them a bad person. And they may fit and mesh well with someone else, but not necessarily you. So I think those things are some of the things we have to think about, as well as what are we looking for in the relationship. So I have a comment, well, two rather. So one on the Facebook says, you'll never get out of what you put into a relationship. I agree. It's unfair to have unrealistic expectations of someone else. I agree. They can love you, but not the way you want them to love you. Absolutely. Doesn't make them a bad person, just not the person for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I was just stating. We just gotta be mindful that what works for someone else doesn't work for us. So whether next male may be okay with certain things with me, the last person may not have been, and vice versa. And what works for the next female, for him, may not have worked for me, and they may go off and be happily ever after, and vice versa, because expectations, unrealistically, what I want may not be what the next woman wants, and vice versa. What the man want may not be what the next man want. Chris says, it's no steps, just get you somebody else that's going to love and care for you. And I said that too. Some people just feel like just move on and start over. And so I don't know, but I do think that if there's trauma, like Nikki baby said, you gotta address that trauma, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to take that. Right. 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 Right.
They want to do that. But to sit here and say, oh, that's not what happened, that's not true. There are relationships that have been here for years, 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 who can say, when I put this in, I get this back. When I put that in, I get that back. When I put, now, is it going to be like that all the time? No. I feel like relationships are like a credit and debit system. When you put in so much, you're creating a balance that you have to where when that person needs to put into you, they have something to pull out of. They have goodness to pull out of, knowing that you've been there for them, and then you reciprocate, and that cycle starts all over sometimes for each person. So I think that to have the thought that it's not possible.
Not that it's not possible, but more so, most times I'm thinking there's always one somebody. Yeah, I think there's one somebody that's always giving a little bit more than the next. And there are some balances, of course, I believe in relationships. So I'm not saying that you don't get out what you put in. I think what Vincent and I are saying is the expectation thought process of going in thinking that what you put in is what you're going to get out. And if you do, then that's a lot of times where people are let down. So let me see what they're saying over here. One of the key components is a person's upbringing. If they don't come from a loving family where they saw the father treat their mother with love and respect, then chances are they won't treat their lady with love and respect. Most boys emulate what a father figure do. Angelica says, I agree. You have to communicate expectations. We love people how we want to be loved, and that may not be how they perceive it. Absolutely. And I think that's what Vincent and I are saying as far as expectations. And so, not that there's a measuring cup, but like she said so very well, we tend to love people the way we want to be loved instead of, because I heard somebody say, you don't have to teach people how to love you. And I disagree with that. I really do. You don't have to teach people how to love, but you have to teach people how to love you. Because where my love language may be something totally different as far as quality time and acts of affection. And my ex, it was big on buying gifts. I could care less about gifts. I love gifts? Yes. But by the same token, that's not what pleases me. That's not what satisfies me. So if we don't love people the way that they need to be loved, based on knowing how they need to be loved, then that's when a lot of things, in my opinion, gets off track. What's the comment on this other side? Something happened. I can't hear you. I lost you. Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
And then for the grand says, you might not always get what you put in, however, if you don't want your partner needs and they don't, what do you mean? It's possible to be received, it's possible to be received, fulfillment, and fulfillment.
I agree.
Those things in different ways. So for the mistake or for Miss Nikki's comment, you have to allow somebody to be themselves. I don't know if you agree with that. You cannot stop somebody from being who they are, and you have to love them for who they are. Their mistakes, their praises, their amazingness, and their ain't that greatness, right? At the end of the day, I feel like you're for the Graham's comments and allowing them to tell you what they need from you and listening and accepting that and trying to do that if that's what you want to do. If you see that that's not something you want to do, that's
Right. So, yeah, I do believe that you can get that same fulfillment through your partner without it being a level of what I put in, I get out. You're still able to get the level of fulfillment by things of what you're stating. If I'm communicating my needs, and then those needs are fulfilled by what I'm talking to you about or sharing, and you're actively acting upon it, then I think you can get that out. So Vincent says that's why it's important to have those tough talks early. Wait a minute, I think I missed something. Hold tight. My fault, guys. Sorry, sorry, sorry. It's like I lost the comments. It stopped rolling on my end.
And just so I can kind of take it back to the original topic of the conversation, because I don't want to miss the topic. I think it goes back to when you do have the time in like your season of singleness, really getting to know who you are, getting to know and have a self love of your because at the end of the day, if you don't know how to love yourself, how are you going to teach somebody else how to do it? How are you going to truly be in a place where you can receive or how to love someone, how someone's wanting to be loved? If you don't already been secure in what you yourself wants, if you're not able to understand you, and I think taking that time to really get to know yourself in that season of singleness is vitally important.
So Vincent says you definitely have to teach them how to love you. Each person is different and their love language may be different. Absolutely. That's why it's important to have those tough talks early about likes and dislikes. Everyone is not willing to everyone is not willing to live you on the level you want, love you on the level you want and need to be loved. And then Angelica says it's not about getting what you put in, it's about getting what you need. Absolutely. And that's what she stated. Stop comparing what you do. Hold on. I lost it because somebody else put a comment and it kind of triggered me off of hers. This thing is tripping today. Sorry, guys. Hold tight for me.
While she's finding that comment, I will say,
Okay, go ahead on that one.
From Miss Nikki Baby says, "Amen, amen for the gram. It's an exchange of balance and give and take. Fill up and be filled as needed." And I think that coincides with what Angelica's statement says. Sometimes it's not. It's what you need, not necessarily what you want. It's what you need.
I don't know why this thing is giving me such a hard time today. Sorry. Let's see. All right, so here we go. It's not about getting what you put in, it's about getting what you need. Stop comparing what you do for a person or for the relationship and use it as a measuring stick for what they're doing. It's about if you're providing what they need, and if they are providing what you need, you can provide plenty and still miss the mark. Absolutely. And that's why I would say I don't think we're necessarily saying it balances, like there is a measuring board, but like you have to try to if I'm putting in this and then but my needs are still getting fulfilled, I think it comes a problem when you're doing all of these things and then they're not doing enough to fulfill what you need from them. Well, what we got on the other side?
So over here we have two comments before the gram. She says, while in the season of relearning yourself, finding out what your love language is best, what your love language is best for you when loving yourself, you may want to have quality time as a love language? Can you spend quality time with yourself? Can you speak positive words of affirmation to yourself? Love on you so you can properly love and be loved. I 100% agree, and that ties back to my comment. During your time of singleness, you have to learn how to love yourself, because you cannot teach someone how to love you if you don't know how to do it yourself. That makes no sense to me, because when I tell you that's a red flag that I've learned from my previous relationship, to where I would ask, well, teach me what to do. Teach me how to love you better. Teach me, tell me what you need from me. And I would get yelled at. Like, you should be able to understand what I'm doing. It is a red flag to me now, because it's happening to relationships now. It is a red flag to me now that you can't tell me or show me how to love you, because you don't know how.
And that's true. And I think that's what Vincent and that.
You can't even.
Go ahead.
You hold me to an expectation that you can't even meet for yourself. That is ridiculous, to put something you can't do for you on me all the way. That is insane. You can't even. That's like a person we talk about. I like to compare it to when we talk about finances, and we talk about don't get in a relationship with a person who pays supply for their household before you, without you. Don't get into a relationship with someone who cannot know how to love themselves for themselves without you, because now they're putting this expectation on you being the person that gives them that makes them happy, when naturally they should be happy with or without you. You should add the layer. You should add that icing onto the cake. If they can't love themselves without you, they should be able to love themselves with you.
Well, I think it comes down to like understanding of, like how you said, and I've heard that comment that you should know how, but those are people that are still struggling with some demons, or if lack of a better word, that are still dealing with some things themselves, because truly you should be, as a man or a woman, maturely enough to understand what that statement means. And then that's where it comes down to maybe a person understanding, being able to comprehend what that statement actually means. Because I don't know if they necessarily understand that statement. Teach me what I need to do or how to love you. And they say you should know how to do that. Well, if I'm not fulfilling your needs and we haven't communicated that, then how do I know how to do that? Because like Vincent was saying, everyone is different. And so what Fredecia want, you may not want or need. And so with that being stated, I think when people come back and say you should know how to, no, not for you. Because the way I'm loving you, like, goes back to what Angelica was saying. I may be loving you based on how I know how to love you, how I want to be loved. And so I'm loving you based on that. But that's not what you necessarily need to feel whole and fulfilled. So I think their comprehension sometimes of what certain things mean, we get these statements where you can't move forward.
Definitely have to have an honest conversation with ourselves about, are we emotionally intelligent enough to even be in a relationship with somebody right now?
Right, I love that. So are you emotionally intelligent enough to be in a relationship? Because I think that's where that comes from. If you're not emotionally intelligent enough to understand what that means, then maybe, yeah, you may need to take a
minute.
Yeah.
Just take a second. Come back. Because I know for me right now, I know it's not an emotionally unintelligent space. It's I know I haven't loved on myself enough for me to want to be in a relationship right now.
Hold on one second. Let me say this, and that's crazy because Vincent said people learn to love you off of how you love yourself, which is something that you just stated. That's why I wanted to kind of hit to that, because it's like you guys said the same thing.
At the same time, yep.
Absolutely, at the same time. You want to read what we got on this side?
We actually don't have anything on this side as of right now, so we can keep going on your side.
All right. So Angelica says there are much more people struggling with their deficiencies than they are aware. We don't spend enough time alone, actively loving ourselves and healing and becoming more self-aware. Um, and is that personally emotionally available to love you the right way? Yeah. Yeah. I think it's all about coming out of our being selfishless, and being able to know that it's not about us all the time, that it's about our partners. And so we work hard to fulfill their needs, where a lot of times people be like, well, you got to figure that out, and that's on you, and you got to work that out. But it's all in how do we work through this together? What do you need from me? What do I need from you? How do we make sure that both of us are you gotta be able to compromise, and then that we're getting what we need to for each other, are giving what we need to each other, so that they can feel whole and complete.
One of the main things that I have taken away or put